What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Siesta Key Season 3, Episode 7. And it's called, What's Really Going On With You and Alex?
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines of the episode. So be sure to stick around for that.
As always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode, y'all.
Yes. Let's get into it because I do want to speak to you a little bit more about the ending of the episode because it was pretty ratchet and crazy.
Yeah.
So
nuts.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll take it real quick. Lots of stuff happens. There's 2 parties that happen this episode, but of course they have their little recap. I feel like there's a formula now when it comes to this show. It's like recap the last episode with every character, then get ready for the next party that's happening during the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's Juliette and Kelsey, and they're working out and they're just catching up. And Juliette basically is like, I'm single, but Alex is out here calling me for like 6 hours at a time, telling me that he's still in love with me. And Kelsey's just like, fuck that guy. You know he's not good for you. Try to move on with your life. Then it cuts to the hairdressers. And Chloe's out here getting her hair done just so we can get all the tea from Alyssa. So
She's like, oh, I'm gonna come to you to get my hair done now.
Chloe plays the villain like so
totally.
perfectly. Like she knows exactly what she's doing the entire time.
She is the epitome of reality star. Like she's on Twitter. She's all like, yeah, at Juliette Porter. Why would you do that to me?
Yeah,
at Juliette Porter. You're so ridiculous. You're like, da, da, da. I'm like, you're adding her and you're insulting her. So clearly you guys are still friends at this point. And like clearly you guys have both kind of, you know, created your Twitter war or Twitter feud, whatever.
Right.
She's just the perfect villain. She plays that character so well, you know?
She's an instigator. She does all that shit.
Yeah.
So she's talking to Alyssa, and Alyssa basically is like, she's not being vicious by any means, but she's basically saying like, I'm not going to be putting up with Juliette for much longer because Juliette's kind of lurking around. And now that she's single again, Alyssa's just a little worried and weary of Juliette, which is fair enough. Then it cuts to Brandon and Amanda skateboarding, and they're hanging out. And he doesn't call her out, but he basically is like, what happened to you at the end of that party? And he's like, I feel like I got ditched. And Amanda has to remind him like, bro, we ain't dating, so I don't really owe you anything. And he's like, well, you made that real clear. Okay. Thank you very much for letting me know again. What do you think of what's going on with them?
Yeah, I really feel like their whole storyline has been taken out of context a lot. And I feel like they are both playing up their roles. I feel like off screen, they probably were like, let's like have drama this season so that we can be relevant and like have like drama and airtime. This is their relevant storyline. Because I do feel like Amanda was very obvious in the beginning and even probably offline. And she does say it on her Twitter. She's like, I clearly told Brandon I don't want anything serious. Like we both got our relationships. She's like, I just want to fuck around. And he understood. So I just think this drama is just being created for the show. And that I feel like he really doesn't feel some type of way. Yeah. And
then they just create situations around each other to make it seem like there's shit happening, but there's really nothing happening.
Like later on when she gets cheesed that he went to Robbie's party. Like that was a little like, okay, like he can go wherever the fuck he wants. Like, you know?
Exactly.
It's not like he's being friends with Robbie. It's not like he's like, hey man, like I'm your friend now. He's just kind of like taking advantage of Robbie's fame and he's just like going off of that and like going to his party. You know what I mean?
At the same time, I do feel like this show is all about like the producers being like, go to the party. Like, you know, we're hosting it.
Yeah,
you know, like,
exactly.
It's all about that shit too. So
yeah.
Anyway, speaking of the party, Rebella is having a party and Kelsey and Juliette are talking about it. Kelsey has to go because she basically works for them still. But Juliette doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to see Robbie, obviously. And she says something that's really cute that I feel is like the story of every millennial's like journey. She says, I literally avoid everything that's difficult in life. It's so annoying. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically everybody's problem. Then it cuts to Madison and Chloe, and they're having like a little hangout session at a restaurant. And Madison's like, I couldn't sleep last night. And Chloe's like, why? What happened? And she's like, I'm late. it.
She was so dramatic in this moment.
So dramatic. Like, I mean, Madison,
it's like scary.
I know it's very scary, and know that Madison like overwhelmed and like kind of like mind fucked herself because she was like, what if I have a kid now and I can't stress out? Like, she started talking about her family and the fact that there's so much stress already and the fact that they're long distance. Like, she's out here thinking that she's going to be like a stay-at-home mom, like a single mother, because it's just out like traveling the world. And it's just really funny because Chloe obviously knew about this, but she was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, her facial expressions kill me. But
do you feel like Madison did this to have a storyline at some point in the season?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that you would bring this up, especially if it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if there was like a definitely potential, I think that she's just like going into her own zone. I mean, I can definitely see the producers being like, did you get your period recently? Like, I don't know. But yeah, what did you think?
I don't know. I think it was she did look very concerned and she looked very scared on the phone call. So I'm like, I don't think you can act this out and like fake it, you know?
No. If she is, then she should win an Oscar, because that was like some pretty legit
and like
pretty legit crime.
Yeah, like calling your boyfriend at work, telling him this, if it's like a fake storyline, like he'd be cheesy.
Yeah,
he'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you know?
Then again, he is one of the ex-producers, so he's like, oh, okay,
that's true.
I see how this goes.
Yeah.
So let's do this Rebella party. So they show up. Juliette does decide to show up with Kelsey. But right away, Juliette kind of like beelines it to a corner of the party and doesn't really want to talk to anybody. She's talking with her like friend assistant Kelly, being like, this is weird. This is so weird that we're here right now. And Kelly's basically like, yeah, you shouldn't be here. Everybody's basically like
I don't know who Kelly is, but Kelly seems to know everything. Like what the deal is on everything.
Yeah, totally. Another big thing that happens at the party is Jake and Kelsey have a conversation about where they're at with their relationship. And essentially Kelsey says, we're good where we're at right now. I don't want to fuck things up with with work. But I do enjoy your company. And he's like, cool. And then they just like keep making out. Cut to such a cute moment. Jared and Garrett fishing under the pier.
Jarrett. Their name should be Jarrett.
Jarrett. Yeah, it's so cute. Which is also like a really nice name. So Garrett's basically like, how are you guys doing? How are you and Kelsey? And Jared's like, nah, that's not happening. She pissed me off. I'm over it. And Garrett's like, yeah, I mean, like, friend zone, man. Like, you can't do that kind of stuff. And then he mentions it's his birthday, which is the big party of this episode. He says Alex is throwing him a birthday party, which is like really like the first WTF moment of this episode.
Yeah.
Because I was like, didn't he punch him in the head in the first time they ever met? Yeah. Like, I think when he had his first party, he punched him. So clearly they are like best friends now. But also, I'm like, this is definitely a producer move. Like, where else are they going to host this damn party?
Yeah, exactly.
I am wondering if they're ever going to do, like, they're probably going to do a party at that club that they just opened, the bar that they just opened. Oh, for sure. Well, to, like, help.
They're probably, like, his dad's probably like, we need to fucking get these parties out of my house and, like, do it somewhere else. He's like, I'll buy you a bar.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason why they did it. So one thing that we learned about Jared, which was like a huge WTF moment, was he has an ex-wife. Like it
was like surprising, but also like not surprising, because he seems like such a like relationship kind of guy that like I wasn't shocked that he had been married. Yeah, he seems very romantic, very like he wants to be like home with like his wifey. So I wasn't shocked at that, but I'm surprised that like we didn't know this. Like no one had mentioned it before.
I guess it wasn't relevant at all in the conversations. Yeah. He's never really had like a relationship enough for it to come up. So, you know, like even when he was hanging out with Kelsey, like there was never a moment in time where she's like, so how's your ex-wife? You know what I mean? Because they never got real.
Yeah.
But yeah, he mentions her. He says that, you know, they used to be really close, obviously, because they were married. But now, you know, he kind of expects a phone call from her every birthday, which I thought was kind of cute because they still kind of maintain a really good relationship. Anyway, so that's going to happen later. Madison takes their pregnancy test. And I'm so glad that I watched this online the next day, because if I had to watch this with fucking commercials, I would have been like, this was so disappointing. Because she calls Ish. She like gets the test. She's bawling her eyes out. And he's like, yo, just check the test, because she hadn't checked it yet. And then it cuts to commercial. Then you find out that she's not pregnant. And she's like, okay, I'm good. And he's like, look, you just got worked up for no reason. And yeah, I thought it was a cute moment. To your point, I definitely think this was a real storyline. I think she really, truly was scared. She had her own pregnancy scare.
Yeah.
But it is really
Having
cute.
said that, yeah, and it was like I was fucking terrified for her. And the way she's telling him is like, hey, so like I'm late. He's like, you're late. Late to what? He's like, oh, like you're late.
He's like, she's like,
okay,
true.
Yeah, and like, you know, I'm like, girl, just say it.
Just
like,
say
this
what you're
guy's
gonna
gonna have a
say.
fucking heart attack. Like, just say that you think you're pregnant and you're doing the test. Like, just say it in 30 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, but it's all television stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so she's fine. And then it cuts to Chloe and Alex talking at the bar, and of course, Alex is like stirring the pot. This was
so fake. Again,
so annoying.
This was so fake, guys. They cut to the cell phone. So there's a part in the scene where Chloe checks her phone like randomly in between making like margaritas that are gonna cost like $9. She's like, oh my god. She's like, they're at a party. They're at the Rebella party. They're like there. Yeah. And she shows like the video to Alex. And guys, it's not even like an Instagram video. It's like a legit video. If you had like imported into your phone movies app, like it's not like a video that you
it's
would
like
see
Siesta
online.
Key footage, like it's like literally like high HD high quality.
It's literally Siesta Key that they just shot like 20 minutes before, and they texted it being like, yo, show this on her phone.
Yeah, they're basically like, just green screen her phone and we'll put it in post production.
And then Alex was like, oh yeah, they're there. I'm gonna send him. It was such a fake scene. Like,
just gonna send it.
It just felt so choreographed and like orchestrated.
Yeah, totally.
And then yeah, Alex basically sends Robbie a full screenshot of like Juliette basically pouring her heart out and being like, I still love you to Alex, and being like,
you're
like,
my first
I'm
love.
Not over you. It was like the worst.
I have such strong feelings for you.
Yeah.
But like, it's how petty is that whole conversation?
Oh,
and
for sure.
The whole way that he went about it, I wanted to slap him in the face. He was like
evil smiling like the entire time.
I know, he's so lame.
And that's the thing. Like even though Chloe is friends with Juliette at this point, you can still see like the happiness that she's getting.
Oh yeah,
from
100%.
the drama. Like she's like like what's gonna happen next? Like seeing her like that, I'm like, yo, you're a fucked up person still. Like you really. Like, you love the drama too much. Too much.
Like, to the point where she doesn't want to have, like, real relationships. She doesn't have a real relationship with Juliette at this point. She's just, like, I don't know. Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. Like, even if you were sort of acquaintances with someone, you would never get this happy at, like, their, like
their pain.
Their pain, exactly.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't. And she very clearly is. So, it's just weird.
And even when like he's about to send the video, she's like, "No, don't, please."
Yeah,
what are you doing? She's like, "Oh no, what did you just do? Oh, okay." Like, thanks,
yeah,
Chloe, you didn't do shit.
Thanks, Chloe.
So it cuts to the Rebel party, and it shows Robbie getting the text. So then he has to confront Julie about it with the text, and she kind of is fully honest with him. She's like, yeah, I did send those texts to him, but you also have to understand the context of all of this.
First of all, can we just talk about how they like did that scene where like he gets the phone message?
Oh my god.
And he guys, it was like horror music. It was like da da. And then it like shows him like carrying his phone like around the pool, and the camera's like focusing on the phone, like traveling from like one end of the party to the other where Juliette is, and he like presents his phone in front of her. He's like, I just got a text message from your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh god, he's so gross.
I was like, oh, I don't know who to hate more in this moment. Like,
honestly. So he gets it like really butthurt about it. He's like, oh, our whole relationship was a lie then. And Juliette's like, stop being so dramatic. That's not what it's about. Yeah. You know? And
he's like,
this is one of my
favorite. This part killed me.
Such a stupid moment, but he's basically like, what was your favorite moment? Like, what was your most memorable moment of our relationship? And she's like, I don't know, like Greece, like we had sex on a plane. Like, what's the
She's
difference?
like, what? Y'all gonna say that? Y'all gonna say that?
And then
He's like, actually,
we watched
no.
Office. We stayed up all night and we watched The Office and just like stayed up and talked all night. I was like, boring. But like,
There's a
joke. Man.
joke.
He just sounds so fucking.
He sounds so phony.
Fake.
There's a joke that goes around, and I don't know where I saw it first, but it literally was like, can people stop putting The Office as one of their hobbies on dating apps?
Oh my god. Oh my
like,
god.
please stop. Like, everyone knows that you like The fucking Office. It's the best show in the fucking world. You don't have to put that as one of your hobbies. Like, stop being so like.
That's like saying like I love Friends. Like no.
Yeah,
fucking
like everyone
way.
loves Friends. Like we
Jesus
get it. Like
Christ.
if you didn't, you're a psychopath. Like
when
we
Game of
get
Thrones
that.
was on,
And so
like
it was
I love
just-
Game of Thrones. Like yes, Jesus.
Yeah, it's just funny how he was that guy to be like, we watched The Office together. Like
he's
all
literally a
night.
stereotype. Like
he just copies things from like
Yeah.
the online world and like
he
spits
copy
them back
pasted
out.
his own persona, and like that's who he
Yeah,
is.
literally.
He's a fucking robot. Like I'm sure
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
robot, or he's just a psychopath. So anyway, that happens, and then he gets like fake upset. That's the thing. Like he's like calm and cool and collected, being like, "Yeah, that was my best moment with you, and I'm really hurt about this." Like he doesn't even respond like a normal person would.
You know, I really would have taken this conversation seriously, but because I know who he is,
Right.
I felt that he knew what he was gonna say in this moment. Like
Yeah,
he already
he's
knew it.
so
He knew that he was gonna
calculated.
say like, "What's your favorite memory of our time together?" Like he had all that
Yeah.
script written out already.
Yeah.
So I was just like, please, just leave my TV screen. Like, just please be gone. Like, go.
His final line to her is, I hope you find your happiness. I'm just sorry it's not here. Like, get out of my life.
Yeah, just
He's
stop.
so fake. So it cuts to the nail salon. Amanda, Madison, and Chloe are just hanging out, doing their nails, having champagne. I was like, what fucking nail salon are you at that you get
I
champagne
know.
just hanging out? I've been to 0 nail salons that offer you champagne. But whatever. Amanda's talking about Brandon going to the Rebella party, and now they have to talk about this. And Juliette, they also mentioned the fact that Juliette was also at the Rebella party, and like they're all like, what the fuck's going on? Didn't they just break up? Like what's her situation? But everybody's expecting them to show up at Jared's party, so everything will be resolved or confronted by the end of the episode. Then it cuts to Alex's mansion, and his parents are talking to Alyssa and Alex like in the morning before the party, and they're just like asking like, how do you feel about Julia being around? And Alyssa does again get pretty defensive and say, you know, she is kind of lurking, and I'm not really okay with that. I think that she's a bit of a, you know, I need to stand my ground, and I need to make sure that she doesn't like step a little too close to the line. And Alex also says like, I don't know how that happens. Like he plays innocent and stupid in this entire situation. Like
Yeah.
you're texting her too. She's not just sending you these texts. You
Of
know what I mean?
course.
And I think that's the part of it that always frustrates me is like he always gets out of it scot-free. He's always the one that's like untouched, and he looks at her and he's like, she's the crazy one. I'm like,
Yeah, and like
no,
even
man.
all the way until like the end of the episode, and we'll talk about this after too, but like
Yeah.
even all the way at the end, like even Alyssa was like, when Juliette was like, look at his messages, and she's like, I don't want to see it. Why not?
Yeah.
Like why not? Why don't
Wouldn't
you
you
want to
want-
see his side too?
because you want to get pregnant, bitch.
Yeah, like it's just so, if you're gonna fight equally, like fight with both sides on the table. But like
Yeah.
Alex just like, I didn't say anything. I don't fucking believe you. Who knows what you were telling this girl?
Exactly, and I think that that's I think that that's fair, but I do understand where Alyssa's coming from, where she understands their situation's kind of special in the sense that they're exes, they're always going to try to attack each other. She kind of understands like there's drama and residual shit there, so maybe she just wants to stay out of it and be like, I don't want to hear both sides. I already
No,
know
of course.
that they're not together, so she's
And-
just kind of trying to stay out of it, right?
Yeah, and I think like to even what Kelsey tells Juliette too, she's like, just don't even like answer his phone, like don't do anything with
Don't
him.
entertain
you know?
it.
Like
Yeah.
don't even entertain it. Like just block that number.
Right.
And you really do have to cut the cord. You can't be in this middle ground because they are just I don't know, they love each other's like drama, like they love pulling each other back
The
into it.
push and the pull and the
I'm
power
sure Alyssa,
struggle.
yeah, I'm sure Alyssa was like, "Yup, gotta get pregnant."
Yeah, she's like, we're not dealing with this anymore. Shutting it down. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
pregnant, so you can shut your fucking mouth.
yeah.
So everything comes to a head at Jared's party. Starts off with Chloe being like, "Oh my God, is Juliette wearing my sunglasses?" Like literally, that's a line that she says as soon as she walks in. Um, Alyssa and Alex are making out in the corner, and it literally shows Juliette kind of like side eyeing them
It
the
keeps
entire
making
time.
her look like she's looking, but I really don't feel like she was looking at them.
I mean,
It's just
maybe
the
she was, but
angle.
like these close up angled shots of her like side eyeing and like looking all petty.
Yeah,
I'm like, guys, let's move
like
on
come
here.
on.
So another thing that happens is Jared is waiting on a text from his ex-wife, and he's like, "Oh, I just like, was expecting her to call me or message me, and she hasn't messaged me yet." I thought that was really cute. And then it cuts to Amanda and Brandon talking, and she confronts him being like, "Why were you at the party?" And she was like, "I thought that was really disrespectful because you know that he did what he did to my phone and all that shit." And Brandon's like, "You want to talk about disrespect? Like, where the fuck were you
Yeah.
with JJ?"
You know what? In hindsight, I think that it was wrong for him to go, but because I feel like he was disrespected at the party, I get why he went. It's almost like because he was cheesed at her, he's like, fuck it, I'm not going to be loyal to her then, and I'm going to go do this.
Yeah, but she does make a really good point. She says, like, you going to that party has nothing to do with us.
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah,
she's like, that was a friend thing. Like, you could have just had my back as a friend, and that was just really tight for you not to just like come through for me, and not do that. So I totally understand where she was coming from, but it's true. Like, he is trying to separate, but also it's like exactly what we were saying from the beginning. Like, this is all like not real. Like, to me, I'm like, they don't really care. They don't really give a shit. But she does, if that is the case, then she has a better point than he does. He does confront her and say, "You never like hooked up with anybody," and she does say, "No, I never did." Are we assuming that they never hooked up? Like her and JJ, they just made out and that was it.
Out. Yeah.
Which is like, whatever. I guess she wasn't technically lying because she's like, "I never like put his penis in my body, but like we made out." So it's not.
She's like, "I don't do that, okay? I don't have sex with more than one person at a time."
She's like, "I just have sex with their mouths, with my mouth." So then it cuts to Jared finally getting a call from his ex, and it was actually so cute.
Oh my God. It was so like, and he started to cry. I was like, stop
so
it.
Emotional. I know. He's such a little like teddy bear.
He's so cute. He's just so cute.
He's just like a ball of mush that has like so many things that you just want to like hug him all the time. He's so cute. And he's also like he's like really hot.
He is totally. Yeah,
he's totally
like
hot.
Super hot.
But anyway, she's apparently going to come visit. So I guess we're expecting her in like the next couple episodes or like in an episode from now because she's like going to come soon. They wouldn't have said that if that wasn't going to be like the ramp up for her.
It's weird to me that she's coming. It's weird that she's coming into the show though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like she's maybe using him now to be like, oh, like, can I be back in your life to like be on the show again? Like, this is so cool. You know? I don't know. It's just like sketchy.
Yeah, to your point, I feel like just because after 3 seasons she's showing her face, like, where was she all of last season?
Yeah.
Like, how come that wasn't a part of the story? I guess it was too complicated, really, right? Like, I can imagine them cutting out storylines. I mean, he can mention it.
He can just say something about her.
But taking where his journey's been, he was like hanging out with Canvas at one point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so much has happened with Jared's character that I don't think that there was room for his ex to be a part of it.
That's true.
So then it cuts to Juliette being cheese at Alex. She like actually goes and wants to talk to him. She's like, "I feel like I just need to talk to him." And literally everybody around her, Kelly, Kelsey, all of her friends are like, "Do not do this. This is the worst idea ever. Like, do not do it. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it." She's like, "Okay, fine. I'm gonna do it." She literally gets up and fucking walks straight to him. And she calls him out. She's like, "Why did you send those screenshots? You know, that really fucked things up. I thought that was, confidential between you and I." And she says, like, "You said that you love me, and Alex is like, but as a friend, like, you sound crazy right now. Like, I'm only I only love you as a friend. And she's like, well, if you still didn't have feelings with me, then why did you text Robbie? And then that's when Alyssa kind of like slides herself in and is like, what the fuck is going on here? It's time for you to kind of like chill out, girl. Why are you up in his face? And she says like, you should leave. And Alex is like, yeah, you should probably leave too. And Juliette says, it's funny that you say that because he didn't fucking tell me that this morning. And then mic drop. And then Alex is like, we were sleeping, and they start laughing at her. And I think that is one of those things where it's like, Juliette is not perfect by any means, but I hate watching people bully people.
Oh, for sure.
It made me feel so uncomfortable.
This was the point where I was like, fuck that. Like, don't laugh in her face, like 2-on-1. Like, Alyssa should have just never gotten involved. Let them have their talk and like let Juliette walk away. Don't come into it because now Juliette's a man down.
Yeah.
And it's just not fair. It's just not right.
It totally wasn't fair for her to come in and just like poke fun at her and make fun of her and make her feel crazy. So she gets so irritated and frustrated that she pushes Alex in the pool. Personally, I didn't think that was a big of a deal.
Yeah, it's like
she pushes him in the pool.
You're in your shorts anyways. What's the big deal? Like, who cares?
Like, it's literally a pool party, and he was laughing the entire time. It's not like he got knocked over the head and fell into the pool and he's bleeding everywhere. He just swung into the pool, and that wasn't a big deal. But instead, Alyssa like goes after her. Juliette defends herself. She rips her fucking bra off. Like, there's
apparently
just like
she ripped like Alyssa's bra, like a bikini strap.
Her bikini strap, yeah.
So
but I'm like, I don't know, man.
It didn't need to go there, man. It didn't need to go there. And like after that point, like everyone's like hating on Juliette. They're like, oh my God, get her out of here. Get her out of here. Like, she's a fucking mess. It just didn't make her look good. And I didn't want her to leave that scene looking like that.
Yeah.
But
it made her look.
It
made her look like pathetic when in reality she had the upper hand, and she could have just played it cool and been like,
totally.
Just to let you know, Alyssa, your man is calling me up and like messaging me. Yeah, I'm entertaining him and talking to him as well, but just letting you know that that's the situation. The only thing that is, and that's the thing, when you're trying to come in on someone else's new relationship, you're not going to win. It doesn't even matter if it's a lie, because your person is always, if they really do care about you, they're always going to defend you. They're always going to say what needs to be said in order to like win for the other person. Like, they're not going to turn around. She might yell at him later. She might be like, so what happened with Juliette? What the fuck were those texts? Like that's what people do. But in those moments, you can't go in on two people in a couple and be like, you guys are fucked. Your boyfriend's fucked and you're fucked. You're going to lose either way, because she's going to defend him. She's going to defend herself.
Like, you know, in the episode where Alyssa's like, oh, Juliette's back here. She's like trying to weasel her way back into like, you know, Alex. Yeah. And on Twitter, Juliette was like, oh, like you tried to weasel yourself in and got pregnant after 3 months of dating.
Oh, mic drop.
Yeah.
That is some shit.
If you want to talk about the weasel, I think you're the weasel. Let's
girl.
show us
You weaseled your vagina into his penis.
Yeah, you weaseled that sperm up in there.
So it all ends off with Juliette walking away and getting pissed off, where they kind of like tear them apart, I guess. And Alex is like, oh, I just like hate her. She like needs to live now. Yeah. And then
Chloe comes over. Like, everyone starts getting involved.
Yeah.
And Shalissa's like, oh, I got scratched. She scratched me.
And it's literally the smallest scratch. Like, it's microscopic.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's still like fucked up, right? Like, if someone did that to you, like, it's still pretty. She didn't need to get violent, and that's her thing. Like, don't get there. Like, fine, push him in the pool. Like, you're being playful. Whatever. It's you're doing it to a guy. Like, whatever. But she didn't have to touch Alyssa.
But it's two things. Number one, these fuckers are drunk 99% of the time on this show. So alcohol's always involved. There's always going to be like an escalated level of violence. I do agree that violence should never be the situation. But two, to what we were just talking about earlier, the fact that they're essentially bullying her publicly. I don't even know what I would do in a situation like that, when someone who's I know for a fact I'm telling the truth. Their person is now yelling at me, being like, get out of my boyfriend's face because you're lying. And I'm getting just frustrated. I mean, I would either start fighting or I would just start crying. I'd likely just start crying.
For sure start crying. Yeah. Because like you do feel like it's all kind of, everyone's ganging up on you.
Yeah, everyone's ganging up on you.
In that moment, like Chloe comes over. She's like, what the fuck's going on? And then Juliette's like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And then Chloe's like, give me my glasses back. And then Juliette like breaks the glasses in half and like throws them back to Chloe.
She doesn't even break them in half. She like just like mushes them together. It's just
like they were clearly weren't expensive.
Like crumples them up like a piece of paper. The funny thing is like there was a tweet where Juliette basically was like, those glasses were $7 for 10, like on Amazon. Like they weren't like special.
Calm the fuck down. That's what I mean. Like they look cheap. Like they're not a big deal.
Yeah. But it's also like one of those moments where Chloe gets into everybody's fucking drama. Like, girl, you're not even relevant in the story. Get out of here.
And then also when Juliette goes back and like tries to like pull down Alyssa's thing, I'm like, oh my God, girl, just go home. Please just go home.
Yeah.
Someone
she's
get this
like,
girl out of there.
Because she's like, you want to be that kind of girl? Like, Alyssa's getting up in her face. She's like, you want to be that girl that fights and shit? Like, Juliette obviously is drunk at this point. She like looks at her boob and she's like, boop. She like fucking walks away. I thought that was, I feel like that was like my favorite moment, to be honest.
It was.
Funny.
But at that point, I'm like cringing for Julia. I'm like, just leave. Like, don't embarrass
just
go.
Yourself more. Yeah, like it's not worth it. You look stupid.
And that's how she left and that's how the episode ends. She just leaves, and they're all mad at her again because she was the one that got violent. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's just not this moment. 100% not fair. The moment with earlier this season with her like pulling Chloe's hair. That was definitely all on her. But this moment for sure, I was like, this is not fair. Like it's not stacked properly. To your point, like she was like in a corner. Like it was bound to happen in my opinion.
But you have to you got to learn what corners to get yourself into, right? And
I know it's true.
She just needs to not like do it in that setting, you know? But
literally everybody turned. Right? Like that's the thing. Everybody turned around and was like, do not go over there. She's like, I'm gonna go over there. Like, girl, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like before she gets kicked out, her friends were like, we literally told you not to go over there, and you fucking punched somebody, you ripped her fucking thing. And that's the thing too. To a degree, as much as I do want to say like, yes, she's more of the victim in this situation. She runs back to her friends and she's like, I just ripped her bra off. Like she's laughing too because she knows that she's wreaking a little bit of havoc in Alex's life as well. So she's trying to get something out of this too. She's trying to win, and the way that she's trying to win is like really shitty. Like it's not cool either.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, she leaves the party. It ends off with her being like, this sucks, and then like that's the whole episode. But let's get into our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment is your best moment, so you can go ahead and say it.
So my best moment is Juliette going in on Alex and just like calling him out and saying what she had to say, and even saying like, you know, this is a two-sided situation. I only wish that she didn't let him affect her as much as he did. And I feel like
I know
she should have just said what she needed to say it publicly even, but then walk away and be like, he's not going to bother me. I'm going to have the last word. And you know what it is?
She really did have the upper hand with like dating a new guy, breaking up with Robbie, and like having her own independence. And I was like, yes, girl, you are on this high level. Keep going. Like, don't look down. She looked down like right away. She was like, but I still love you. I'm like, fuck,
girl.
Like, just don't go back. And
I know. I'm sure it's hard. Like they're in their circles. Like she just needs to move to LA or something. Like get away completely.
Yeah.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
WTF moment, I think, was all of that. I think just seeing Juliette again get kind of violent. I wasn't expecting it to get there. I did feel super bad for her. I was like, this is not good. Like they're ganging up on her and like it's not a good situation. But for her to scratch Alyssa and like rip her bikini strap.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, not again. Like
that's not a good look, girl. That's not a good look. My WTF moment is finding out that Jared has an ex-wife, only because it literally came out of nowhere. Season 3, like what?
Yeah.
I did not expect his storyline to go the way it's about to go. I'm assuming that she's gonna be involved in the next episode or something. But yeah, I definitely thought that was definitely my WTF moment.
MVP.
Who's your MVP?
My MVP is gonna go to Ish because
Yes, Ish.
you know, I think you just really don't know sometimes how someone is gonna react, or you're kind of waiting to see how they're gonna react. And I think this was one of those moments for me where I was like, how is he gonna react to her? Is he gonna tell her to like calm the fuck down? Like, don't worry. Like, he was more like, what's going on? Like, you look like you're crying. Like, what's happening? Are you okay? You know, I want to be there with you. Like, he was like the perfect boyfriend, perfect response, and
super supportive.
I was really, really impressed because it did seem like he was genuinely concerned for like how she was doing.
Right. And it does also seem that he understands her crazy already, which I always love when I see it in couples where the other understands it. Like, he's like, right away, he was like, see, you got yourself worked up for no reason. He must already know that she does this. Like, he must already know that she kind of like trips herself out sometimes. And the fact that he's totally okay with it, the fact that he's kind of calm about it and isn't like, oh, Madison, stop acting like a child. You know, like, he's not making her feel worse. He's just like, I love this girl and she's just having a moment. Let me just support her through this.
Yeah.
Just shows that they're solid right now. Like, it definitely looks like they're a very solid couple, and I'm really happy for them. My MVP is gonna go to Jared for being like the cutest person ever this episode. Even all the way to the point of him crying. Like, vulnerability is so sexy.
He was so cute, and he was like trying to wipe his tears before he like went back outside. He's
and like
so cute.
And one of his tweets last night during the show was him saying it was really dusty in the mansion. Like, he's like, that's why he was wiping his eyes. But yeah, it was just cute. And I am also looking forward to seeing what his past kind of holds, like who this ex-wife is, like what's that storyline. Maybe it uncovers a little bit more about who he was as a person as well. So yeah, Jared all the way.
LVP.
Who's your LVP?
I'm gonna say LVP is Alex and Shalissa. I think you know, they could have gone in a different way. I think Alyssa should have given them more space to just have their conversation and not get involved. And the fact that they both ganged up on Juliette in that moment, like giggling in front of her and shit, like that was not fucking cool. Don't do that to anyone. Like, if that was you, tight. Like, you'd feel like shit too, you know? Just don't do that. So
they're literally making her feel like a tiny person and being like, get out of here, little girl, you're so stupid. And it's not fair.
And already she's like on eggshells. Like, she is not a strong person. So
very emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah.
My LVP is gonna go to Chloe. I know that we talked about how she's being like a perfect like villain in the show and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like someone who doesn't have that kind of integrity, like, she just lacks integrity as a human being. And I just feel like whether or not you're doing it for a show, I think that you should always put your best and positive person forward. You're not making millions of dollars off this show. This is something that is going to carry you for the rest of your life. And you don't want to be seen as someone who is a snake and like talks shit behind people's backs and like lets things happen and gets petty with shit. Like, I don't know. It's not a good look for her future. And you can do whatever you want to do for the show and for the producers, and it's all acting. And when they have their 10-year reunion from 10 years from now, she'll be like, it was all a joke. But like, girl, Kristen Cavallari got through this. I don't know if you're going to be able to get through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The best line.
What was your best line?
Best line, I think it's going to go to probably just the ending when Chloe's like, Juliette, give me back my glasses. Like, in the midst of all this chaos and all this carnage, she's like, give me back my glasses. I'm like, bitch, just wait. She'll see you tomorrow. Like, what's the big deal?
Here you go, bitch. Literally crumpled.
But again,
her face was like my best line. Her face was like, like fully gagged.
And then she turns around to Alex. She's like, did you see what she just did? She broke my glasses. Like, what? He's going to go buy you a new fucking pair.
Well,
and that's
probably.
the thing. Like, it's also, like, in that moment, just seeing Chloe responding again, like, she's clearly taking Alex's side. Like, she is not on Juliette's side whatsoever.
No, not at all. She never chases after her. She never is like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, how are you feeling? What's going on? And I don't know. She's not being cool. I don't like it. My best line is going to go to Kelsey when she's talking to Juliette at the gym. And she says, he's like dog shit in a bag on fire. That's Alex. She's just defining Alex to her. And I was like, that's a good line.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Good job, Kelsey. I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder squad, White, Nicole, Faith, our Lit Rewinders, Tina, Ann, Sarge, Serena, Soleil, Kate, and Jessica, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamla, and Grace.
Thanks, guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on all of our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and comment to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.